Trigger warning, this video has some conversations about domestic violence. If you or someone you know is affected by domestic violence, help is available. Bob's Burgers is a wonderful and successful show. It started in 2011 and has had 14 seasons so far, with the 15th along the way. It has had a feature-length film. It also has been nominated and won multiple awards. If you don't know, Bob's Burgers is a show about a family who runs a burger restaurant that is continuously down on its luck. Bob, the main cook, is a father who does love and care for his family, but he is the ultimate pessimist, finding something that aggravates him in almost every situation.
We're not skipping cake!
Okay, fine, but I'm gonna complain the whole time.
He has a desire for the simple things, and the world just seems to work against letting him have that. His wife, Linda, by contrast, is the ultimate optimist, finding joy in whatever the world throws at her, especially her family, and she is always willing to show her enthusiasm, sometimes even in song and dance.
Linda stocked corn and she don't care. Linda stocked corn and she don't care. Linda stocked corn and she don't care. Cause she also got diced tomatoes. Woo!
The oldest child, Tina, is an awkward teen, often unable to figure out what to do in social situation, and so just freezes.
Turn one way or the other. You're just swerving back and forth. Turn one way and stick with it, Tina. Tina, for the love of God! Turn away or stop!
She loves horses and writes erotic fiction, often including her friends and zombies.
It's an erotic friend fiction story that I just wrote. I hope you like it because you're all in it.
The second oldest, Gene, is a free spirit, often hoping to be the center of attention with half-assed made music or comedy. He, like his mother, will often find joy in things, though Gene finds joy more in the weird than the everyday life. The youngest child is Louise, a manipulator and a troublemaker. She often has schemes for rewards such as candy, though she does also love her family and friends. She's also the protector of the siblings in many ways, being the only one able to stand up to the world. The show also has a bunch of side characters, each with an extreme personality. It would take too long to go over all of them in this video. So what makes this show work so well? I mean, from everything I just listed, it sounds like a traditional animated sitcom. Well, I think there are a few answers for its success, but it can mostly be summarized, and that is a happy sitcom. You might be like, what are you talking about? Aren't all sitcoms happy? Well, no. I would argue that South Park is not a happy sitcom.
What the? Greg!
I would also argue that It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is definitely not a happy sitcom.
What the hell is that?
It's a baby we found in the trash.
Well, put it back. It doesn't belong to you.
So, in some ways, yes, and in some ways, no. Let's look at some classic sitcoms. One of the earliest and most successful sitcoms is The Honeymooners, a show that follows couple Ralph and Alice. I haven't seen much of it, so much of what I am going to say is really by its reputation. Every sitcom needs conflict. It's almost in the name. Sitcom is short for situational comedy. While the couples in The Honeymooners do love each other, the conflict in the series often are in between the couple, between Ralph and Alice. And, of course, you have the famous line,
I'm going to the moon!
Boy, that has not aged well. And this is true for a lot of sitcoms. Many sitcoms have the conflict in between the family members, mostly the husband and wife. And this makes sense. Family conflict is something that we can all relate to. This implies vaguely that marriage and family is nothing but conflict. Even shows that have a happy reputation, like I Love Lucy, has this marriage conflict problem. Of course, not all sitcoms are like this. A lot has been said recently about the love of the Addams family, how it is pure and how they care about each other and support each other. It says a lot that the Addams were supposed to be the anti-family, and the result is love and compassion. Sitcoms continue to be about family conflicts, even to this day. Even some of my favorites. Shows like Everybody Loves Raymond mostly is about spousal conflict, or conflict between in-laws.
You're just trying to cause trouble. That's all you ever do.
Malcolm in the Middle mostly pits the kids against themselves or against their parents. Bob Burgers doesn't really have a lot of that, though. The conflicts can be between family members, but a lot of times it's an outside source. When it is between family members, It is often resolved softer than most sitcoms I've seen in the past. It's usually resolved by someone coming to a conclusion, learning a lesson.
First, the burn unit stopped hanging out. Then, the lunch bunch stopped hanging out.
God, we have lame names.
And while that might be cliched, Bob Burgers brings a charm to it that makes it really work. Most of all, though, there was little fighting, and the fighting is where most of the humor comes from in other family sitcoms. Think about all the yelling in Everybody Loves Raymond or Malcolm in the Middle.
Anybody! I can't believe you boys. Oh my God, look at you! He better not need stitches.
Most of the humor is the yelling itself. That's certainly true for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Compare Bob's Burgers to some of those sitcoms and the yelling. You can also compare it to Homer choking Bart or how Peter treats Meg. I mean, that is just full abuse.
Get out of this house! I said no!
And you have an animated family sitcom that really stands out. But that's just where there is family conflict in Bob's Burgers. Most of the conflict comes from outside and threatens the family system. A lot of the plots involve money.
The landlord, Mr. Fischoeder, is coming over to talk about the lease, and we don't know if he's going to renew.
He'll renew!
Well, we haven't always paid our rent on time.
We never pay our rent on time.
Thanks, Lynn.
I would argue there is one more thing that's going on that makes Bob's Burgers work. Bob's Burgers is an adult show. You can't deny that. There are themes of sex, prostitution, stripping. The movie itself is a murder mystery. But while it has those adult elements, it also has a lot of elements that are really, frankly, for kids. It has overly cheerful pop songs.
Out of here in no time. No one's gonna blame me, I'll be feeling just fine.
It has very nice family morals. The plots are goofy. There is a main character obsessed with farts.
Oh, God.
If you remove the adult content, it would be a PBS cartoon that comes right after Arthur. Yes, I know Arthur is no longer a thing. It's interesting how the last few decades have really normalized adults watching animation. I think The Simpsons was the start of this, and then South Park piggybacked off of it. We are at a point now where adult animation is its own subgenre, and you will often see that in streaming services. But we are at a crossroads now, where it's not only adult animation that is popular among adults, but kid animation too. I want to go as far as say it's mainstream, like Family Guy or The Simpsons. And maybe I think this because I hang out with communities that like animation, but I am starting to see more and more kids' animation being liked by adults. Avatar: The Last Airbender would probably be the first that accomplished this, at least in my knowledge. But now I am seeing adults have Adventure Time tattoos, Gravity Falls is in conversations a lot, and I've seen multiple memes and verbal praises of Bluey. Never would I have thought a show like Bluey would make it into adult eyes, even if it is minor. And that's why I think Bob Burgers works so well. It's a kind show that has both the good parts of adult shows and kids shows. And I really think this says something about adults missing an element in their childhood. Like, I think there is a free spirit that we all kind of miss. I will admit, at this point in the series run, it is starting to get a bit stale. If it would end, I would appreciate the good times, the laughs, and the memes, and I would remember it fondly.